This video is made for adult collectors because giant scary Wolverine choo-choo train. Remember those old Marvel crossover figures and like, you know, they had Wolverine turn into, what was it, an ATV or something? Now he's a train. This isn't an actual crossover toy. I just said that because it has like Wolverine claws. He's very cool. This is a train. A big ass, long ass train. And this thing exceeded most of my expectations. It's nuts. This and Gigantrex are really getting me into the metal cardbot toys, and I want more. That Osprey and pirate ship one are looking real nice. Blast Train is a beast of a thing. It cost me 180 Canadian dollars off AliExpress, not sponsored, but man, I am happy with this. I'm starting in train mode because this will just flow better. This does a lot, so let's just get into it. This train looks insane. It has eyes, and I wish they could go away, but other than that, I love the train. I know the eyes are like a show thing. I don't watch the show, but this is a long ass train, 3 cars worth, and they all connect and can work as an actual like locomotive. They all have rolling wheels and even ratcheted rubber car connector portion things for you to like walk from car to car. I don't know train terms, but this thing is enormous. Like, goddamn, it's about a liter class a car, like an old liter class a car. It's huge. The gold stripe flowing down the sea of black and red is nice, though it's a bit messy in some areas. If you had more blast trains, you could connect them all up and make like one enormous ass thing that you would have no space for, because I don't know anyone who would have space for that. The cars can also store things. One is for the helmet and the other is for the small robot's gun, which is currently being used as a coupler for the front train. Speaking of the smaller robot, let's just get to the smaller robot. So for this section, we don't need these two. They can go away. They can be gone. It's just this one. Now, this train has some problems, and like my buddy who has the Korean version, his doesn't have these issues. Plus, any of the other like reviews I've seen of the Chinese version don't have these issues. But the issues are these side sections don't like staying tabbed in. They don't fall, but like they don't stay tabbed in, and then the back legs refuse to stay tabbed in at all. The only thing that's holding them together is this. There's like a gap there. Like, hello, and that's because those tabs just don't want to work. So that's a little annoying on this, but everything else about it works perfectly fine. So to start with, we're going to, oh my god, there we go, open the back section and take that out and just fold that up. Then we're going to bring these sections out and down. They hook underneath here, so just bring them out, down. I'm going to rotate them. Then we're going to take the cow catcher, move it down, take the back section here, bring it down, and then split the arm. Then what we're gonna do is take these sections, bring them down, fold these up, that'll form the feet. Then we want to rotate the waist 180 degrees, bring the thighs out one click, fold up the crotch, and then just get him standing. Bring the arms down, fold up the shoulder pads, like that. Then you wanna slide the arm guards up, like that. Compress that, pull the head out, rotate the head, and there you have the small robot. Oh, those go that way. The small robot. This robot looks a tiny bit awkward, and I think the chest is in the wrong configuration. I will correct that later on in the video. It is neat, but you can also tell it's supposed to become a larger entity. But what is here is nice. There is a lot of this mode specific details, such as the nice chrome finish on the chest and the big ol' stompers. He is quite big too, like he's up there with a lot of old leader class toys. Oh, hang on, I'm just gonna... That looks better. He has a gun, which looks a bit jank because it's the train connector, but it's a gun. Plastic feels okay on like everything. There are some parts where it feels either a little thin or like that oily, cheaper stuff. There's actually like a couple of thumbprints from whoever assembled this in the factory stamped onto my figure. His articulation is pretty good though. Actually, it's one of the better side of something like this because Gigantrex was a bit limited. This isn't. So some feedback from the articulation segment, because you know I've changed everything, was it was a little too close. So we're not going to get as close to the figure. We're still going to get close, but not nearly as close. So we're going to get, you know, we'll go this far and see how it goes. So the head can rotate. It can do a full 360, and then there's a hinge. You can look up that far, and you can look down quite a bit. No tilt because it's a hinge, not a ball joint. Shoulders, you can do a full 360. They can go out about that far. The shoulder pad can also move if you want it to. It does have bicep rotation, double jointed elbows, and then you have a wrist. Oop, you can't see that. You have a wrist joint. The waist section is actually full of stuff, so you have butt flap that moves. That allows for a ratcheted waist joint and an ab crunch, so you can crunch that for basically all the way because of transformation, which is awesome. And then you have a secondary butt flap that moves out. to allow for the hips to go forward that far. They can go back that far. They can go out that far. You have thigh rotation. Thank you. You know, we got Gigantrex over here with below the knee rotation. So I like this. However, the knees, they're really high up. So you get the figure like his leg up like that, and you bend the knee and it doesn't really accomplish much. Like the leg is not any further up, and I don't like how high the knees are, but this is purely a combination thing because of when you like collapse this whole thing that has to fit into here and all that. So like I get it. It just looks a bit weird. And then you have ankle pivot and ankle rotation, as well as it can move back or you can move it forward if you want. So very, very posable thing. His feet do extend. Very, very posable thing. So now we bring in the other components and then shove them together to make a massive, that's how words work, to make a massive hulking Wolverine robot of death. All right, let's make him a giant robot. So to start with, we will do the legs. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take one of these train cars and you just pull on it. Oh, that didn't work as intended. Hang on, let's try that again. There we go. It pulls this piece out when you do that, or it's supposed to. And then to get this back in, you just push this button and it goes back in. But you want to make sure those are out, which that's not the one with the hat. But you close this up till it's like angled. Then you fold out the foot. I just cut my nails, so this is going to be a little difficult. There we go. You get the foot out, and that's a leg pretty much ready to go. So we'll do the same on this side here. Pull that out. This one houses the helmet. Yep, there it is. Take the helmet out. Close that up. Make sure it's at that angle. Fold up the foot, and there you have foot number 2. Now we're going to take these. You're going to want to take this section, bring it down, push this back, and pull this forward to make that little like shoulder section. Rotate this 90 degrees, bring the arm around, open this flap, push the fist out, close this flap. That's an arm. Now we can get the torso guy going. So we're gonna take the gun out of his hand. You just put it back in the train, but I'm just gonna put it off to the side. But you fold that up. Then we're going to fold the arm guards down. We're going to bring these around 180 degrees and fold them close to the torso. Then you wanna bring this section down and fold this up. These are going to tap into, there's a little peg right here. You barely see it. There it is on the side. So you wanna get that nice and squeezed together. Do that on both sides like that. Fold that section down. We're going to open up the hip skirt, fold this up, rotate this, bring this section up like that. Collapse the legs by pressing this button in here. That'll collapse them up. Then you fold this section up like that. That'll form the knee pads. Rotate the head 180 degrees. Shift that back just to line everything up. Then take the hat, plug the hat into the top. Fold up the ears. Don't compress the head. Don't do that. There you have the torso. So you want to take this piece here and you want to slide it in, and it'll just doesn't click into place, but like it's not going to come out. So just it's weird how this attaches because it just sort of sits in there. But there you have the legs. Then we take the arms and you just slide them in and slide them in. Oops, don't push that in. That is Blast Train. He's huge. That is insanely massive and involved. There is a lot going on visually that can look messy to some. It does to my mom, but I really dig it. The gold chrome on the torso, head, and shoulder cannons with the gold paint going down the body to the legs, and how the wheels and the cowcatcher become the hip skirts. I really like that. He's just a big chunky boy, and if you take the brick that has the card attached to it and split it up and fold it out, you get these massive Wolverine claws. There isn't a lot in the way of new detail exposed here between the other two modes, but it does a very good job of accumulating all of those details into one semi-cohesive giant robot thing. His head is cool now with the hat on. It feels very train conductor with some mecha flair thrown into it. This is the Chinese version, so this has some of the fixes applied to it that were issues on the Korean one. So his shoulders don't have that random nub thing, so the shoulder connectors don't flex anymore. The ratchets in the hips and the knees are slightly stronger, and then like the train doesn't have coupling issues, though I don't know if that's a widespread thing or just my buddy's issue, but he has the Korean one and he had that problem. The ratchets though still have a bit too much play in them, so posing this mode can be a bit odd stability wise. So there are some new things about the articulation of the big guy and some things that I think still need to be fixed. So, like I said, there is the Chinese version and then the Korean version, and this was ordered from AliExpress, so it's the Chinese one. So it has the nicer like leg ratchets and the better shoulder attachment pieces, but there's still some stability things in the shoulders. So the head first is the same head as the last one. It hasn't changed anything. The shoulders are trigger happy shoulders now, so they bend in here as opposed to at the shoulder itself. So they go out that far, but they're not super strong. It's with these things, because if I take this off, right, it's fine. But once I put this on and we're like, oh, I'm gonna put it down, the shoulders, like if you pull them out and then hold them and then let go, it'll work, but the slightest like knock will just knock them both down. Little annoying. They can do a full 360. You have a bicep joint. You have a double jointed elbow that only really bends 90. You do not have wrist rotation, which is unfortunate. He still has the waist rotation, but you have to like open this up and then open this out at the back to be able to access it. And then the ab crunch goes backwards as opposed to forwards now. Get that all situated there. Whoa. The hips are the same as the robot mode. The knees now, though, are using the ankles to bend. So that's the ankles of the small robot, which, you know, they were strong in the small robot, so I have no complaints there. But below the knee swivel, that's unfortunate. It is a below the knee swivel, and it doesn't even rotate that way because it bumps into the sculpt back here. You can do it there, but like when you get a full 90, you can't rotate it. You can rotate it in, but you can't rotate it out. Little unfortunate. And then ankle tilt, ratcheted ankle tilt. So yeah, there's still some ratchet things that I think need to be fixed in the shoulders, and then I don't like the below the knee swivel thing. I still think that's kind of dumb. If you like robots and trains, then I think you need this. It's super cool to look at, to transform, to mess with. I do have my nitpicks, but like, I think it's still neat overall. Just please stop giving toys below the knee swivels. Those are useless. I recommend this so long as you can find it for cheaper than what I found it for on AliExpress. I paid the equivalent of like almost Star Optimus Prime price before shipping, which isn't terrible, but it's going up and down, fluctuating. So hopefully it goes down in the future and people can buy this thing more, because it's really fun. But that's my look at Metal Cardbots Blast Train. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.